Hey everyone, and welcome back to Gacha Interact. In today's little video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming event weapon, which looks really cool, by the way, and it is called Calamity of Eshu, or Ishu. And it does look really cool. It kind of matches Ororon's appearance and kind of style, or those people of the Night Soul area, the Night Wind, whatever, the people of the night. So it's a very cool looking weapon, but we want to talk about its potential uses and maybe the current characters in the roster of the game that it could work with. Who knows? So let's talk about it. Looking at the weapon, assuming it's level 90, when you level this all the way up, its base attack is going to be 565, which is really good. That's, I think, the highest base attack that you can get out of a 4-star weapon, so that speaks well for itself. And then it also goes into attack percent, so a very high attack sword in the 4-star category for giving attack to whatever character you're using it on. Now, looking at the ability, and I want to assume this is R5 just because it is going to be an event weapon. If you guys watch the live stream, you know you get it from one of the upcoming events in 5.2. So, assuming that you have this at R5, it states that while characters are protected by a shield, damage dealt by normal and charged attacks is increased by 40%, and normal and charged attack crit rate is increased by 16%. So, overall, those stat increases are very good. 40% is a lot for normal attack and charge attack damage. The crit rate is also really good as well, being at 16%. And then you're getting the attack from the base stats. So a lot of good stats for damage dealers that, you know, want to be on field doing damage with normal attacks. This is a very good alternative to even some 5-star weapons on other characters instead of their personal weapons. But the big catch here is that you have to have a shield. If you're not protected by a shield, you're not getting anything out of the refinement ability, which means you're only getting the base attack and the attack stat on the weapon, and that's it. So with that in mind, I kind of want to know your thoughts, Vixen, on maybe some characters that, you know, this could be good for in the current roster, but also maybe some thoughts on some future characters. What do you think about this?
So the first character I think that idea of a character that would come to mind is characters that are going to be your DPSs, so on-field type characters. But you, like Riff, you were just talking about, you almost have to focus on teams that, or you should probably think about teams that have a shielder in it, because that's how you're going to get this refinement ability. So thinking over things, you know, obviously characters that are more recent, characters like Cloron or something like that, where once again, in Shiori, maybe they're more recent characters, but specifically characters like Cloron, you know, they're usually in teams that usually don't have shielders. Now I know Kirara can be put on the team, and that's a Dendro character, so that spread Hyperbloom type team can allow her to be on the team and put a shield up. But normally those types of teams don't usually have a shielder. So you're almost wondering, okay, it still can work on Cloron, but do I have to figure out how to put Kirara in the team of some sort? But like your DPSs or your on-field type characters are really what's going to be going towards it. So even a character that you're trying to think of that's going to also go off attack. You once again did damage characters. So Cloron, Al-Haytham, a fun character I like to use. Once again, another Dendro character. Following that idea, it's a little bit more difficult to find kind of a consistent shield user. Ayato, catching some of the older characters. There are plenty of different sword users that I think are mainly going to be DPS characters, Ayaka even, that can definitely use the weapon. I think that's what you're looking for, right? Is you're looking for a DPS specific character that is going to have a shield though. So Ayaka, I'm thinking of Diona, an actual good teammate that could probably be used there. Ayato, I know he works on vape teams, but possibly allows Toma to be put in the mix. You know, when you have characters that are, you know, Geo teams, it's maybe a little bit more difficult to kind of get that across, because a lot of Geo characters don't really work extremely well in these situations, I guess. I don't know. What do you think, Rift?
Yeah, I think it's like if you have Zhongli, that's your go-to, right? But thinking in the context of not having Zhongli, I like how you're talking about even using a character like Toma for Ayato isn't like a terrible idea. I mean, you're getting the use out of him. Ayato's doing the normal attacks. That's proccing Toma from off field. The only issue that people might bring up is that Toma is so short-lived. It's very short DPS. Toma's very long-winded duration on his burst, so you might have some weird mismatches on the lineup of durations and stuff like that, and it's like it can just feel weird, but it does still work. So I think for newer players, it's a good free alternative to just use on any one of these you know, characters if they do happen to have them, they recently picked them up, or are just looking forward to the future and just know, hey, I just really want this character, and they can use this weapon as a free alternative to not having to pull the limited 5-star. It can save a lot of wishes for the future. So it's more It's more or less just kind of mix and matching what you have and what can work with it to kind of just save yourself wishes based on your current plans. It's nothing, I don't think it's like insanely game changing for a lot of these current characters. It's just yet again adding another option, and it is a pretty good option. It's just, once again, you need the shield, and that's the catch. So I did like how you brought up those characters. Toma for Ayato again, Kirara for Cloyan. I think that was really good, just because you could do like a double Electro, double Dendro, more aggravate focused Cloyan, where Kirara actually becomes a very good teammate in that team, especially if Cloyan is using this weapon. So that's, you know, one way you could think of it. Layla could be even used for Ayaka in addition to Diona. You know, it's just kind of playing a puzzle with it to see how you can make it work efficiently, because I think this weapon has very good stats at the end of the day.
Also, Chlorond, if you even think about it as well, could even use Toma for that overload team. So if you have Shivers who can make it work, it can kind of work there too. But I have a quick question also. I'm not really thinking that we've talked about a lot of 4-star characters in this video. We've talked a lot about 5 stars. And honestly, that's mainly just because 4-star DPSs are pretty hard to come by, especially in the sword category. And it looks like there's only one character like that. So Rift, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, looking at the 4-star roster for only swords, I mean, we have 7 characters here. We have Lynette, Layla, Kuki, Kirara, Bennett, Xingqiu, and Kaya. And out of all of those, Lynette's going to be the first character who can actually use this sword. That adds yet another catch, though, and that's she has to be C6. So you have the catch of the weapon saying you have to be protected by a shield to even get the stats, and then Lynette has to be C6. So for some of you, that's not going to be an issue. You already have the C6. So what kind of team for Lynette, being a main DPS, what kind of shielder would you be using in a team like that? Maybe one of those other 4-star shielders that we've already been talking about, because Lynette can swirl and just, you can add in some like soup kind of damage or whatever. You can use Zhongli, he's just very universal. So I think a lot of different things can go there. It's just, once again, that's something you have to think about, and you have to take a character out of one of your slots in the team to make sure that you have someone giving a shield. And then with looking at the other characters, the other 6, sure, you can do like a meme build for damage dealers if you want to make your Kirara a normal attack damage dealer. I know some people do that. Bennett with the C6, I know people want to do like a Pyro infused Bennett. That can happen, that can work. Candace infusion on Xingqiu to make him a 4-star version of Ayato. I know there's a lot of different things you can do and just kind of have fun with, but looking realistically at this, once again, Lynette seems like the only option she can actually use with having a shielder in the team. Would you agree with that, Vixen?
Yeah, I mean, once again, you could, like you said, the meme builds of like, trying to force a C6 Bennett in his own, infusion state or something like that, or popping down said C6 Bennett onto a Kaya's own burst and trying to have him do pyro normals, trying to vape on himself. Like you said, there's a lot of weird, interesting things that I'm sure people can and will try to definitely do with this weapon. But I think, like you said, for 4 stars, C6 Lynette's kind of the only real good usable choice for this. And really quickly, because I know people are going to say it, C6 Kazuha and C6 Farina, and I'm sure some of the other C6 support characters can probably get their own infusions and make use of this and be more on-field as a support characters, as 5 stars or whatever, and become on-field DPS characters. But let's be honest, if you have C6 of a 5-star and you don't even have at least one copy of the personal 5-star weapon, I have some serious words for you in your account, never mind some other things. So I wanted to just state that before we kind of went on, but I think overall, most likely you're going to have their own specific weapon. And I know also another character that could technically work. I know people in the past have used like a DPS Gene. I know that can work. Could kind of once again work here. It's just going to be very specific and very weird to really kind of think about it, in my personal opinion. Well, that's everything we've got looking at this weapon. Let us know if you guys are maybe excited for this weapon, if maybe the past few event weapons we got have maybe overshadowed this weapon, if maybe you guys were excited for the weapon but maybe it fell off, maybe it's still a really good weapon. Let us know how you guys would use it, which characters you might put on it, maybe who you're looking forward to put it on as well. Really quickly, actually, also, I don't even think we talked about future characters. Really quickly, I think the one character in my mind that I think this could be interestingly kind of on might be a character that works maybe well with shields, would maybe be Citlali. Maybe this is a way to show us that Citlali might be usable on a weapon like this. but I think that is going to stay more up in the membrane for me and Rift probably for most of the day. So
Yeah, that actually was one of my thoughts that kind of came across Citlali, because we're not given like a very definite indication of what weapon type she might be. It's kind of, at least on my thoughts and stuff, it's not set in stone. With Auroron, we know he's going to be a bow, so there's just no way he can use this.
right.
But I think Citlali is like the highest candidate right now for most likely being able to use a weapon. Maybe she's like a cryo shielder or a shielder of some sort.
Maybe she
that would be
applies her
interesting.
own shield and therefore gets more damage by having a shield on. I don't know. We haven't
It's like
seen
the
that yet.
bell
I
all
don't
over again.
think. Have we? Like putting your own shield on yourself to get more damage?
Yeah, I don't think we have. I just know that the bell, one of the trashiest claymores in the game, I mean, you get a shield, and then you can deal some more damage while you're protected by the shield that the bell gives, but that's garbage.
And
so,
that's also
like,
a claymore, so
I
you
don't
can't
know.
even use it.
It's
Perfect.
just, yeah, exactly. It's just food for thought, but it is pretty interesting because that would give her a lot of attack. Maybe she, whatever Citlali ends up doing, whether she's a damage dealer, healer, shielder, whatever, maybe whatever she's doing is scaling on attack. So it's a great 4-star alternative because, once again, highest base attack that we see in 4-star weapons plus attack main stats. So that's something to think about. That makes it, once again, a good Bennett alternative if you don't have a 5-star like Aquila or Miss Splitter. Bennett really likes this weapon because it's a lot of attack. Now, once again, the attack stat's not actually getting factored into that, but once again, the highest base attack. So something to think about.
Yeah, well, everything we've kind of talked about, let us know your own personal thoughts down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out our Discord as well. And we'll see you guys in the next one.